it's cold today. Um, for the TikTokers, if it does happen, if this incredible censorship, I was listening to it, they were discussing it today. Some old fart from the army, the intelligence community, he said, well, they censor a whole bunch of stuff in China. They censor us in China. So I'm like, yeah, isn't China supposed to be a totalitarian state? So why are you becoming a totalitarian state? Anywho, if it happens, my stuff, should you be interested, continues on YouTube at Tigran56, Tigran, all lowercase 56, at Tigran56 on the YouTube. So today there was a bit on one of the media, the one with the brunettes, not the blondes, of a young man in LA beside himself with grief about his lost dog. After a couple of days, he went back to his ravaged home, and there was the little fellow charging down the singed driveway to his dad, and the reunion was gorgeous. The poor fellow hugging the small animal, his life restored. I do not condescend. This is exactly how I feel about animals, dogs particularly. That the great religions deny the souls of animals, paragoning themselves alone, and therein lies the tale, is a deal breaker for me, among several others, but that's the absolute one. Seeing the man and his dog, I thought of Gaza immediately. The men and women and their children, the children and their parents, not so lucky. Then back to the brunettes and the Palisades, stoic men, hysterical wives, studies in loss of stuff. When I was growing up, maybe 5 years old, I remember hearing, coincident with finish your food, there are children starving in China. They don't value human life like we do, darling, do they? Interjection here. I don't, given my predilection for mutts over even neighbors, have any opinion or judgment about who might love what. I hope Joe's passion for his stuff gives him as much joy as my love for dogs I've known. Sympathy I can't muster, but empathy I can. You feel that way about your Audi. You dreamt of her, sacrificed and strove for that lovely home. I weaned and walked my dog. The Palestinian fed and loved his children. But what I heard at 5 was a lie. Why that lie? Have pity on the foreigners, but we are the superior members of the species. Now is a day of celebration, to celebrate liberation from this kind of spiritual propaganda, this dead end, this cul-de-sac. The self-described civilized have showed their hand. The myth, which it always was, is dead. And all those genocides now heave into focus, get on the same bus and wave at us like ghosts. Both the Americas, Australasia, Sub-Saharan Africa, and whatever other small pocket or island where creatures lived, the colonial could get its paws on, all on that bus like some ghoulish Disney ride. Once more, who am I to judge? We have obviously and industriously made virtue of this onslaught, calling the beginning the age of discovery, if not the age of adventure. It was the age of genocide, and so it remains, and it is understandable. One of the myriad problems with one God is that there can't be any others. Only one center of spirit and source of power, which is still benign if kept in-house. A family agreement, a grisly covenant, but that's not how you all rolled, is it? And now we know. The evidence is piling up, and the only thing that'll keep it quiet is more of the faith that made it so revolting in the first place. So Western world, quote, farewell the tranquil mind, farewell content, farewell the plumed troop and the big wars that make ambition virtue, end quote. You'll hang on for a bit, maybe long enough to make the planet unlivable. So you'll be like Netanyahu, unchargeable because we'll all be dead. But no one alive today can be in any doubt. You are not a force for good in the world. You have broken all your own commandments. Coveting and murdering, especially done with consummate skill. Is there forgiveness? Yes, of course there is. We are not you. You are you, not what you believe. You should have known that before you beamed and wrote the light of the Lord and in his manifest destiny. But some changes will be necessary. Don't ask what. It's not your right. That's what got you into trouble in the first place. Just shut up, watch, listen, and see how other people do things. And every time you get the habitual urge to say, hang on, you should do it this way, remember the mess you've made and listen harder.